Welcome to Earground, and my name is King Boaz, and this is Earground New Voices Amplified. Today I'm joined by AMANY, all the way from Skies, Komfazi Ushaya Indoda. How are you doing, my brother, and welcome to the show?
No, I'm good. Singing right, fam. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So maybe first of all, we need to understand who is AMANY. What's your name? Where do you come from?
Yeah. So AMANY is a metro urban artist from Bulawayo. I've been here for the largest part of my life, though I did spend some time in the UK, Kenya, and Tanzania the last 4 or 5 years. But I'm a metro urban artist from Bulawayo. So I've dabbled in hip hop first, try and tell my story, dealing with issues that are socially conscious, and have moved more into my kind of comfort zone in terms of metro urban music. And AMANY basically means a man named Yemurai. And it also doubles up with as a call to peace. The way you pronounce it is like AMANY for peace. So yeah, that's why I'm as an artist.
What language is it when AMANY is translated into peace? What language is that?
Kiswahili.
All right. Yeah. All right. Nice. Okay. There are quite a number of things that you say. You said you're doing metro urban. Maybe if you can define that. What is a metro urban sound for someone who doesn't know? What does it mean?
Yeah, for me, I characterize it as a fusion. So I tell urban stories using contemporary music. So I bring in jazz influences, I bring in soul influences, I use a bit of hip hop. The sound for me takes a lot from, for example, like a little bit of bongo flavor from Tanzania because my producer in Tanzania. I also work with a couple of producers here, Murphy Kubik and Larynx, who also bring in what they feel is a contemporary sound. And combined, for me, I would characterize it as metro urban for that reason. So I tell, urban stories using the language of music, and in, of course, a fusion of different genres in the process.
All right. Yeah. I would like to talk about the State of Mind, which happened to be your first album, which came out last year in October. But before we get there, what was that moment when you thought, okay, music is my thing, music is my element. This is something that I want to do for life. This is something that I want to focus on.
Maybe I'll say one day when I was singing in the shower, but that's if I'd be comedic. But no, I think the aha moment was whilst I was in the UK, I was doing music there at the church, of course. And one of the people we had there was Charlie K. Was a Zimbabwean artist based in the UK. And he used to run a studio, also a music producer. So he called me up and said, you know what, you say you've got stories to tell via music. Let's see what we can come up with. And so that's where it started. And his mantra, the way he explained it to me, he said, you know what, you have a song, it doesn't belong to you. So your job is to come into studio and give it to the people it belongs to. So that's when I decided, you know what, let me take this out of my own room and house and actually find a way to put it out there.
All right. Yeah. Now, State of Mind. How did that come about? It's an album that focuses mainly on mental health and stuff like that. So how did you decide, out of all the subjects in the world, when everyone is doing bling, when everyone wants women around them and stuff like that, how did you choose State of Mind?
So yeah, that's a good question. So first, I'd say I'm a health activist, and I've been doing that for about 8 to 9 years. And mental health for me has been an area of personal interest in my own activism and in my well. And so I decided to write. Actually, most of the content, the little voice notes I was doing, some of the lyrics I was writing, were pointing the direction of doing something that deals with power, that deals with change, that also deals with personal distress in times of hardship. So I decided to dedicate my first album to talk about that. And so it's mainly 3 things. So State of Mind, first of all, was a lamentation. because your state of mind oftentimes is affected by your environment,
Yeah.
the people around you, the country you're in, the type of government you have, and so forth. And there was a story to tell there. Second of all, state of mind is talking to the individual. So it has songs that reflect on personal pain and hardship, like You're Not Alone, the track I did with CK and Mandisa. And lastly, it was also a set of affirmations, positive vibes, music that you can listen to as you walk to get you out of any dark place. That's like Stars Align and Impilo and Still Alive. So that's the album.
All right. So then between State of Mind and now, you've released a single, Dead to Love, which is supposed to be in your upcoming album, Black Wedding. How did Dead to Love come about? I listened to Dead to Love. I love the song. I've listened to it over and over again. Yeah. It's one of those tracks where when you see love in a track, it's a track that you're hoping that I can use this to get a lady. I can use this maybe to say sorry to a lady. Yeah, Dead to Love is more of a funeral. It's more of a love has died. So does this come from a personal experience? Does this come from things that you see around you? And what is the message? What is it that you want people to take home from the track Dead to Love?
Yeah, you're right. Actually, a lot of people have told me that it's a bit of a dark track.
Yeah.
And they what led you to write about it. But for me, it was, listen, as a musician, I am a storyteller. And I tell my own stories as well as capture the stories of others, because I see music as a tool to help people process pain and also process joy and all these different things. But I realized there were not that many songs. It was leading up to Valentine's Day. So it was an opportunity to write about love. I have like nice lovey-dovey soft songs, which you'll hear later on. But I wanted to write something different. So what about those people that have nothing to celebrate on Valentine's Day? People going through some form of grief, because when a relationship ends, it's like death. It's like a funeral. And you have to go through a process to unpack it. So for me, Dead to Love was a song to help people nursing heartbreak to be able to process that pain and to get to a point where they say, you know what? Anselanda Balawe, I am now moving on. I'm dead to loving you. And now I can focus on hopefully creating a new life of love with someone else in future. So that's the motivation, and that's also the target audience. I'm really glad it's been received well. So I had a fun time creating it with the producer I worked with, Larynx from CMR Studios. I wrote most of the lyrics on the benches at the City Hall.
Nice.
I think most songwriters in Bulawayo at one point or another say they went there for some inspiration. So I wrote all of it from there, and then went into studio, and we began to kind of create the beat, progressions, and the day after we then just the whole thing.
All right. Yeah. But so you kind of took a question from my mouth, because I was going to ask about how has been the reception, how is the media receiving it? Is it getting any airplay on our national radio stations? Is there love on social media on the track? I suppose it's on YouTube and maybe in other digital platforms. Is there love coming through for that track? Because I believe it is quite a good track. Yeah.
Thank you. First, yes, there is love, though it's about death to love. There is love coming from the track. It's first, it's from fellow artists. So my manager, Michelle, the one who helped me, my publicist in a way, helped me put the track out there, had people have a listen first, like some of our main artists in the city. And because of the positive reception, she was like, you know what, this is something we can actually take out and put out. So I went to Kunamani FM. Kunamani FM have had my track on rotation for some time now. Skies Metro FM as well have done the same. I tried to send it up to ZFM, but I haven't heard back from them. So this is a call out to Lady Kuda and crew at the Fix, you know. But yeah, I've had positive reactions. I get calls and texts from people saying, "Listen, we heard your song, you know, on radio. You're doing great. This is good stuff."
Yeah.
Yes, the response has been positive.
All right. Yeah. Now you've lived in quite a number of places. You've lived in London. You've lived in Kenya. You've lived in Tanzania, and now you're back home in Bulawayo. How has these places shaped your artistry? How has it helped you become the person you are? How does all those influences gets to be reflected in your art, in your music?
It's another good question. Let me see how I can put it down. So the UK for me has opened my mind and my ears to international sound. So
Yeah.
Dare to Love, for example, the production in that is as you would say, it's broader than Zim. So that's why the introduction to the song, the first minute or so, is key Okupela. It's all English, and the songwriting, the kind of Eurocentric feel. So even if you go into State of Mind, some of the tracks also they try and pull in the international audience. And I write also listening a lot to some of the artists in Europe, like and the US, etc., like Emily Sunday, and who's this? Anyway, so for Tanzania and Kenya, two other countries I've been in, for me that channels the energy, the positivity, the good vibes.
Yeah.
The producer I work with worked with some of the big kind of bongo flavor artists in Tanzania. So he was the second producer I worked with after Charlie K. And we've got a really good set of stuff that we've done together. He's got a really good sound. So for me, that's like energy, positivity, fun, you know, entertainment. So that's like pop, Afro pop. Kenya also the same. Then like Lapago Bulawayo, my focus for now is to tell the local story. Using genres that resonate here. So I'm working on a body of music around amapiano, house, and some other kind of Afro soulish vibes. So yeah, you hear it. There's not that much of my content out there, but I promise for the rest of 2020 and most of 2021, you get to hear a lot of these projects.
All right. Yeah. So now you have Black Wedding. What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you?
No, it's not what you think.
Now you have the album Black Wedding that you're currently working on. Inspiration of the name Black Wedding, you know. Why couldn't it be White Wedding or something else?
I'm a black man. Anyway, I don't know. I think talk to my pastors. I need help. But principally, it's actually not a dark project. It's actually a Pan-African project. So the way, so I got engaged up at the Lobolo pay price last year.
Nice, yeah.
And we're planning to have, you know, private wedding ceremony in May and, you know, bigger thing in August or December. And then, of course, Corona happened. But I give that as background because I started thinking, what if I were to write music for my own wedding?
All right.
And what if we're to tell like a different story of love, like an African story of love, a black story of love, as it were, and embrace our sound, embrace how we talk about love, also how we celebrate love. So it was meant to be a fusion between Afro soul and Afro pop. So it's supposed to be a two-sided disc, as it were. The first side is more Afro soul focused that talks about love and so forth. And it's based on Imake Tiago Dawayo, the southern half of Zim and South Africa. And then the second part is more Afro pop, which is of course all of Bulawayo, but moving more northwards and to the rest of Africa. And it's quite a lot of it's exciting stuff there, but time will tell. So I mean, Dead to Love is that's a love story, right? So before you get new things, old things need to die.
Yeah.
And before you tell new
All right.
stories, you need to kind of let go of the past. And that's
All right.
part of kind of the storytelling journey of the
All right.
two-part album.
Well, okay, nice. We can't wait for the album. So, is there like a time frame, or you just holding everything because of the Corona thing, and then you will have to plan properly after this is over, I suppose.
Yeah, so it's the second one. It was supposed to be out August. Even State of
Okay.
Mind last year, I tried to push August, but production timelines didn't line up. So August for me
Okay.
is a good and most years you'll see me releasing major pieces of work in August. But this year,
Okay.
yeah, we are rethinking because with the team that I work with, because of
Yeah.
how congested the music market is going to be.
Going to be okay.
Yeah, so I have to forecast and see how can I give my music the space to breathe and to find its place within our music stations and so forth. So
All
you'll
right.
hear more singles coming out,
Yeah. Yeah.
which will pay more attention to, so that we build up. And probably if the year doesn't get too saturated, we'll do something in December, like an EP. But you're
All right.
definitely getting a bigger body of work in 2021.
Okay, nice. Yeah, maybe just get into more of a personal question on the Lobola part.
Yo,
And no, I'm not going to ask how much it was. I'm not going to ask how much it was.
I was looking for my books now. I was thinking,
Yeah. Do
yeah.
you feel it's still a necessary exercise that we need to be still doing in this day and age? Is it something that is still a necessity for us to pay Lobola? I paid Lobola, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it's that's a very tough question because I
Yeah.
grappled with that for quite some time. What I'll tell you is what happened between
Yeah.
my partner. So
Yeah.
she's based in Tanzania. She's
All right.
Tanzanian. And
All
of
right.
course, they follow most of the same cultures as we do. So, but it's a bit more hectic. So you can't get engaged to a Tanzanian woman before you pay amalobolo.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
So that becomes your commitment, and it's a substantial commitment. So without
Okay.
that, the family will not recognize that you are on a journey towards marriage.
Marriage.
Uh,
All right.
so, but to answer your question in brief, I would say no. I don't think amalobolo are appropriate, at least the way in which we're currently using and doing amalobolo, because they the monetizing ukufakwa kwemali, of the value of a woman, and for her to be transferred as an asset, so to speak, from one family to
To
another,
another.
mediated
Yeah.
through money. For me,
Yeah.
I ask my partner every now and then, I was like, but what's the difference between that and like slavery? Like, it
All right.
says
They.
the norm is tricky, but
Yeah.
the theory behind it, the concept behind it is good, it's positive, but the way we practice it now is very kind of, it's an
It's
extractive
been
industry, it's very
commercialized.
transactional, very commercialized, as you're saying, and it makes me uncomfortable. So what my partner and I decided, she also believes the same thing, that it's outdated and it's not a necessary thing, but the cost for a woman to not have amalobolo paid, the social cost, is very
Yeah.
high. And I
All
can
right.
say no. I can say
Yeah.
no, it doesn't cost me anything. And we have a lot of fellas going out there with wives in open defiance of culture. But the
Yeah.
person who suffers most is the woman. So
Woman. Yeah.
I ask her to say, okay, we've said this is what we think, but what do you want? And we realized the best thing to do would be to get the money, pay amalobolo, get done with what was required for us to get the blessing of family, and we move on. We create our life and our family the way that we want. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So now we come back to the lockdown. I believe that you are on lockdown.
Yeah,
What are you doing as an artist? Are you using this time to create more music? Are you too frustrated to write anything? Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's
what's happening? What's
I was
happening?
so I'll spend this time to criticize my songwriting skills and to
All right.
sharpen myself. So I stay in a relatively spacious. There's a spacious yard, so there's a lot of grass
All
that
right.
needs to be. So I go out every now and then, put my headphones on with the slasher, and I'll be slashing whilst thinking, yo, what was I writing? And Bensenzan and so forth. So I'm using that time to perfect my craft. You know, most times you get a beat, you've got a tight timeline, you've got a little bit of money, and you just write and you quickly get things out there. But how do you write memorable music, timeless music? So that's the first. Second thing is I've used the time to plan. So also we live in a rapid kind of industry, and when you're in the space with producers and so forth, the pressure to release is high. But I mean, people like Takura, for example, have been silent for how long? And we know, you know, they're really good, but they're taking their time before they release content. And I can name other artists who do the same. So yeah, I'm learning to be more patient, and I've been taking time to restructure my music so it follows a logical flow. And I know if I release this is how I want my story to be told. Part 1, part 2, 3. Yeah. Unfortunately, producers on lockdown, so I can't record anything. I have musical ideas and so forth, and I'm just waiting for this thing to be open so we can get back to work.
All right. Yeah, nice. You also said you've done mental related issues for 9 years, and I believe that a lockdown is a time that also affects people mentally, one way or the other. I know, for example, in the UK, I think they say there's about 25% increase of gender-based violence, and I believe people are going bonkers because of being closed in one space for a long time. You can't go out and stuff like that. Yeah. So what would be your advice to someone at home? How best can they do, or can they do to themselves and to people around them in order to try and manage some form of sanity or have some form of a relief from mental pressures that come with this kind of a situation?
Great. Yeah, I would say first, stay in touch with your loved ones, family members. Just ask them, you know, how are you doing? How are things? If you have nieces and nephews, talk to them too. Keep and stay connected. The other thing we take for granted is calling your friends. Talk to your friends. Ask them how they're doing, how they're coping. Stay connected. I would, of course, selfishly say also listen to music, because music has the ability to affect your mood at any given point in time. But listen to music that takes you to a place that is positive, that is empowering, that is, you know, motivating. Music is an important tool. If you're down and out, just listen to something. It can translate you from one place to another. Also use this time to plan. You know, think about your life, write a few things, you know, re-strategize. Why you're doing that is you're regenerating hope and building anticipation that when the lockdown ends, you're not in a hopeless and desperate place. The other thing is just stay. I know eating disorders come into play, spending habits, so forth. You know, so just I don't know how to encourage someone to not spend too much, but take it easy. You know, take it easy, take it slow.
If they have money, they will spend.
Yeah, but just watch your pocket, because we don't know how long this thing is going to last. So take your time, take it slow, take it easy. That's all I would say.
All right. Yeah. On that note, on everything that you've said, there is only one thing that you can be able to do for us now, which is giving us a track. So I don't know which track you would like to give us, but I will suggest maybe something from State of Mind, because I believe it's relevant to this time. So which track are you going to just give us a snippet of, and then we close the show?
Yeah, I think I'll do something, a rap from Nkululeko, because we all kind of want freedom right now from the lockdown and from coronavirus. So I'll just do a rap. Here goes. Dear Lord, I pray, mandla. Take away the pain, fakisa kwisandla. As this day now begins, it's a sun, I believe it's the start of a different chapter. I hustle every day, and look on panda. It's been many years, I'm a langihamba. As this day now begins, it's a sun, I believe. Ngingumfana kanyoni, hlala phanda phansi njengequte, ngeke ngihlale phansi ngeke ngisuthe, fisela okungcono, every day ngisipana kuze kuse, every day umhlaba uzuvume. I wanna be free, wanna be the one to live my dreams, wanna be the one they wanna be. It's gotta be me, living lives, living like a king, living up, living in the dream. I'm working hard, I gotta find a way. I swear I bleed, I'm fighting every day.
Yeah.
Struggles now, they never stay the same. But I believe I'll find a brighter day. Cause it's spooning kululego. So
Yeah,
that's
thank you. Yeah, Sayfuna Inkululego, Sayfuna Inkululego,
cool.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, AMANY. It was a pleasure having you on the show. All the best with
Thank you.
the track Dead to Love, and all the best with the upcoming album Black Wedding. I personally can't wait for that. I love the inspiration behind Dead to Love, and I hope that Corona ends, so you finally get it. I hope it
Yeah,
ends.
we need some freedom. No, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And cheers to the Earground team. You guys are the best.
Thank you so much, man. Until next time, we'll definitely want to hear from you when Black Wedding is out.
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much. This is King Boaz, and that was Aman from Tunga. My name is King Boaz, and you've been watching Earground New Voices Amplified. Cheers.